Hey everyone is always asking what champions they should be playing for Season 11, since items shifted the meta quite a bit. Well, one champion has floated under the radar for a while now, getting buffs here and there, and at this point he's just sleeper overpowered. Problem is, all of low elo players play him completely wrong. The champion I'm talking about is Nasus. Most people think as Nasus, you want to just focus on stacks. Don't fight the enemy laner, just stack until you're a god. This is completely backwards as to how you want to play him. In this video, I'm going to teach you the right way to play him and how to build for Season 11 for free elo. So let's get started. For those of you that don't know how Nasus works, we're going to do a very quick rundown of his abilities. His passive, he gets inherent bonus lifesteal. His Q is the stacking ability. If he kills something, it permanently adds damage to it and can stack infinitely. His E is an AoE magic damage ability that shreds enemies' armor. His ult gives him extra health, burns enemies around him, and cuts his Q cooldown in half. Alright, let's get into some gameplay. So, like I said, you don't want to tunnel on stacking, and instead focus on winning lane. To do this, you want to be maxing E. Nasus E has a huge hitbox. It does a ton of damage. You use it to poke and push at the same time. By doing this, you get priority, pressure, and harass. If you play to stack, you're not pushing, and you will be getting out-pressured the entire lane, hoping your teammates win their lanes. So let's look at an example. In this game, I'm playing Nasus versus Teemo. I go for a different playstyle to test some things out in the early game. I try to push from level 1 to see how it would go. But one thing to keep in mind is the E damage starts to get crazy at level 4 and 5 when you get more points in it. It doesn't do that much this early. But by pushing like I did, I got some decent trades and got Teemo's Ignite for free, but I ended up being kind of greedy and dying for it. Then I run all the way back to lane, and I plan on going around and killing Teemo since he didn't get the wave under tower, but I thought he saw me run into the brush here, so I used E thinking he would run away. Turns out he didn't see me, so I missed, but pop Ghost and keep chasing him thinking it's a free kill. As I get him low, I go to use my auto Q combo and finish him, but I do it a bit too fast and cancel my auto and he barely lives. And I die with this huge wave pushing onto my tower. So yeah, this is like as bad as it gets. But when I get back to lane, I'm level 4, so I have 2 points in E. I'm going to use it on Teemo when he walks up, while staying out of his range as much as possible. And you probably noticed that I just used my Q to stack there. When I say don't focus on stacks, it doesn't mean don't stack at all. It just means only use Q for stacks when it's free and you're not going to need it to trade. Since this is a melee vs range matchup, I don't need Q that often, but we will see a melee vs melee matchup right after this. But anyways, I'm hitting minions as much as I can to take advantage of my lifesteal passive, then I hit level 5. Check out the damage this next E does to Teemo. That's a lot of damage for an ability that is basically undodgeable. But I use W to slow him inside the E, then use Q to finish the trade, proc phase rush, and get out. Honestly, going for the Q wasn't necessary at all. If I just keep my distance and keep using E, he can't ever outtrade me. But as the wave pushes in, now I can just use E on him under tower over and over, chunking him each time. How annoying does this seem for the Teemo? But I got him low enough to dive and kill him, but die myself trading 1 for 1. Not bad for how behind I was. So you can see how, even when I'm behind, the E spam was just too much for Teemo. He can't get the wave pushed in since I'm hitting him and the wave, and I'm poking him down using an ability he can't dodge. But I know you're not convinced yet, because you're probably thinking, won't I be useless without stacks later? Well, let's skip ahead a few minutes to when I get my first item after I dove Teemo 2 more times using the same strategy. My first item is Divine Sunderer, which is insane with Nasus. The item heals you with the Sheen proc, which has crazy synergy with Nasus' passive. At this point in the game, I have 144 stacks. 144 stacks at 15 minutes is really low to a player that plays Nasus the wrong way. But if you play to win lane with the Emax, the gold, pressure, and priority you get will outweigh that damage. Check this out. I go to trade with Teemo using my W and E. As I do it, Udyr comes out of the brush looking to gank me. Since I slowed Teemo with my W, I start kiting away from him because I want to try to keep this a 1v1 as long as possible. So I use my Q as much as I can for the lifesteal and healing from my item. As I'm running, I Q the minion, then turn on my ult and keep running while using Q on Udyr every time it's up. Then my E comes up, so I drop it on him to shred his armor, and he's already almost dead. I kite out Teemo's blind, then turn and finish the Udyr. Then when Teemo flashes in to finish me, I hit him with one more Q to heal through his damage for the double. So, as you can see, you don't need stacks at all to melt people with Nasus. The E has such high base damage that it will outweigh the stacks in the early game. But now that you've seen a range matchup, let me show you how it looks with a melee. We're going to start here at level 5. Level 5 is when your champion turns on. You get 3 points in E, so it hits hard. Also, I have a Sheen here. This is what you want every time. If you can get to level 5 and get a Sheen, you're good. You can pretty much beat anything, so every game, just play safe till then. But anyways, I'm against Irelia, and she goes for a terrible trade here using Q on me under tower. If we pause here, she just took the tower shot damage. So look at her health, and look at my 40 stacks on my Q, which is again very, very low. Now watch the damage with my E and Q. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Now, you have to not overestimate yourself though. You have to play around the E since you're going to max it. Watch how I chase Irelia a bit because I want to go in and finish her, but I back off since if she stuns me, I could die here without my main ability. But when the next wave arrives, I use E again to poke her a bit more. Then, when she Qs in here, I know I did about half her health before with my combo, so I pop Ghost and wither her and take the easy kill. I can guarantee you a Qmax Nasus could not have this early game strength. And just like before, if we skip to when I get my first item, I have 270 stacks here at 17 minutes, which is still very low compared to a stacking focused Nasus, but my damage is as if I have 500 stacks because I got kills in lane using Emax. Now, when it comes to the mid game, that's when you want to try to stack a bit more because you have more CDR. It doesn't mean freeze or anything like that though. It just means you can kill jungle camps and stuff on the way to lane, or as you're moving between lanes, and use Q as much as possible to stack since the cooldown will be much shorter. Like look here, when I'm pushing these waves, I'm not just Q stacking, I'm still pushing them fast with my E for tempo and pressure. I don't have time to sit around and wait for Q cooldown every minion. If I do, I might miss my recall timer or overstay and die. Alright, so you know the playstyle now, it's very simple, but runes and builds are important too. Right now, I like two different setups. The first is a phase rush setup. This is really nice if they have a lot of slows, or if the phase rush will help against certain champions' trade patterns in lane, like Teemo. The other one is with Unsealed Spellbook. I like to start with Flash Ghost or Flash TP, and the extra summoner is great for solo kills if swapping to Ignite or Exhaust. And in team fights, it's nice to be able to grab Cleanse or a heal for a 2v2. Both setups work in any game though, so just try and see what you like. For items though, the most important thing is the Divine Sunder. From there, you can just go tanky bruiser like Sterix or Death's Dance, and you can even go mana immune if snowballing. It does a ton of damage. But the core is just Divine Sunder and then situational tanky bruiser items. Alright guys, that's going to bring us to the end of this video. We hope you have fun playing Nasus and getting free elo, and we'll see you in the next one.